Welcome back to Modern Malinois podcast. This is podcast number 7. We're going to be talking all about our breeding program. Alexandra is finally pregnant. She is due to have her puppies in a little less than 3 weeks. And every day I think there's no way she can get bigger. Every day I think there's no way those nips can get longer. And every day they do.
Oh, yeah.
She is rotund.
She's a growing girl.
She's officially now not just called Thang. She is Mama Thang.
Mama Thang.
Mama Thang.
It's got a good ring to it.
I think she's going to make an amazing mama solely for the fact that she cannot stop licking. My dogs have amazing obedience. Yes. They will listen to almost anything, but Alexandra licks when she wants to lick, and there's really nothing you can do about it.
Nope. No command's going to stop that.
No. I've actually kind of worked on that with her because she likes to lick so much, and even then it just 5 minutes goes by and she's like, I'm going to start licking again.
We thought Cal was bad when he was younger.
But it's going to come in handy when we have those puppies, and there's a lot of times when young puppies need to be licked, and she's got
the job done.
She's getting the job done. I want to answer some questions about why we are breeding Alrick and Alexandra, what we're going to be doing with our puppies. First off, though, we have Collin. Welcome. I've been trying to get you out here for years now to come and work for me full time. Collin has a lot of experience managing dog daycares. He has experience setting them up, bringing them into reality, and he will be an invaluable team member for making sure that the puppies are going to be safe. And the most important thing about Collin is that I trust you. You have a really good heart. You actually care about the dogs. And I don't have to think about what happens if one of these Malinois, like as a puppy, we're not talking about aggression, but just latches onto you. You're not going to just turn around and smack it because you got mad.
No.
And I worry about that sometimes with people, especially if I'm not there to watch things.
People can be unpredictable.
You just never know. I mean, it's like having small kids. You got to worry about who's watching them because they can't tell you what happens when you're not there.
Especially with dogs like Malinois, who, they're a little more intense than what people are used to a lot of the times. So.
I also am really happy to have Collin out here because he's so athletic. He is so coordinated, and he does an amazing job with bite work. He knows how to move in the sleeve. And he isn't intimidated by the dogs, which I really like, and just really enjoys it. And he's very in shape, which is another nice thing. People don't realize how hard decoy work is.
Yeah, it takes it out of you. After doing 3-4 dogs in a row, you're pretty tired.
Especially when you're working on technique. There's obviously, there's a lot of people that do decoy work where the dog's just kind of hanging off of them.
Yeah.
But, the type of bite work we do, requires a lot of skill. It requires a lot of, in the moment knowledge.
It's mental and physical focus.
Yeah. And it requires, I'm, you giving me feedback, me giving you feedback, for what the dog is feeling, what I'm seeing. And I know you're really good at that. A lot of people just can't handle feedback in the moment.
Yeah. And
you do really well with that.
Well, thank you.
So let's talk about breeding, why we're breeding Alrick and Alexandra. I've gotten a lot of questions on our posts about, are they health tested? Are they titled? What's the reasons that you chose Alrick and Alexandra to be a pair? And so they both have their eyes checked and certified. They both have hips and elbows certified. As far as genetics go, genetic testing, I think a lot of that is marketing. When you look into it, there are no real randomly controlled trials on it. There's no independent group of geneticists that are saying that, hey, yes, this is reliable. I really do think a lot of it is marketing. And I don't want to, just put a huge weight on something that doesn't have a good quality of evidence for it.
Yes. Makes sense.
And so the other thing that I want to talk about is titling. When people are breeding dogs, for the longest time, that was one of the first things. If you wanted a bite work dog, you want to do protection work, you are looking at the parents and you want to know, like, is this parent have a title in a bite sport? And I think that's a really good thing, especially before social media, before cameras, before we had, the ability to see dogs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just personally have no desire to compete in any sport.
No.
I know some of the people who will be buying my dogs do. And so, like, I make sure that all of my dogs can, be tested, and we do things that simulate what you would have to do on a pitch.
Mm-hmm.
But I think people put way too much emphasis on titles. I've lost count of how many, like, IPO dogs that I've seen that are great on the field and then, randomly in a store or in a parking lot or somewhere that isn't the place that they're used to training, and their training just is like, it falls apart.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that, to me, that's neither a necessary condition nor a sufficient condition to have a really good dog who is good to know whether or not they are good enough to breed.
Yeah. We're wanting the puppies to be really good in any situation.
The other thing is, I want to breed dogs that I would love. Like, I would love to have Alrick for the rest of my life. Like, if Alrick was the only Malinois, like if I just was able to clone him.
Yep.
And you can clone dogs, but it's not, obviously, it's, you're not going to get the same dog just because it has the same genetic material. Just like two twins are not always going to be the same people.
Yep.
For me, like, if I could clone Alrick, like have him, like, personality and everything,
Yep.
and never have another Malinois, I would be happy.
Oh yeah, he's a great dog.
Like, and people act like we don't test him. Like, we do so much more than what is seen on our channels. Like, it's almost kind of like I don't show everything I do on the channels.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes,
Like, a good example that, one of the things that people did see was the school demo that we did at that elementary school. Like, there were, no do-overs. We went in that school and, like, we were in the auditorium on these, like, really slick floors, a very echoey room, kids screaming, like, tons of people. He had never been in that space before. He didn't know what it was. And without needing a single correction, without needing anything other than, like, him working for his ball, with nothing but, like, a leash and a flat collar on, he performed adamantly.
Yeah. And that's what you want out of these dogs, just really good temperament, well socialized,
Is at the end of the day, the people who are going to be buying the dogs, are people who are buying I'm mostly going to be selling fully trained protection dogs. I'm breeding these dogs because I love to train dogs, and the only way that I can ensure that I get to train the best dogs are the ones that I'm going to breed. And, if that's another reason that, like, I would never breed a sub-tier dog.
No.
And, obviously I think no dog is perfect. Every dog is going to have something where, like, this could be a little better. But, you want to have, like, 8s and 10s, 8, 9s and 10s in every category, which I think Alrick does.
Oh, yeah.
And, I want to make sure that, Alrick can be performing in any of those situations. But then also, like, after the school demo, we took him to every kid in the auditorium and just like, here, and he just, like, had all these kids surrounding him.
He's
and
like, whatever.
Not a worry that he would, like, bite or, like, lash out.
Nope.
The only worry I would ever have with a dog like Alrick is that he would jump up just because he gets excited.
Knock somebody over.
And, like, that's why, like, I was holding onto his collar the whole time, but never would he try to, like, get scared or, like, he's so confident. He would never, ever, like, go into that fight or flight mode just for kids being around him.
No.
And that is one of the things that I want. And, just, like, him being able to be around, like, like you and me just leave and, like, you be able to handle him. It's not a big deal. It's not like he's like, I can only be around one person.
Yeah. Matt was gone for 2 weeks at one point, and he didn't give me any fits, no problems, getting in and out of his crate, getting toys out of his mouth, nothing. He was perfect the whole time.
he might test you a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, that's just any, like, headstrong or, like, really intense, like, confident dog.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference between that and, like, a dog who just won't listen, or, when you kind of push back a little bit when they try to test you, they all of a sudden turn to aggression instead of being like, okay. And that's what I think Alrick really has in the bank. He's also, his drive is just insane. That's another thing that I love about Alrick is he has that full gambit of 0 to 100, and his bite is absolutely nuts.
I'd say it's the hardest bite out of the bunch.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
I mean,
we've both experienced him on a puppy sleeve or 2 sleeve, whatever it was that one day. Bad idea. Bad idea.
But yeah, like a lot of my social media is like to show the how good Alrick is and to show how good Alexandra is. We're gonna get to Alexandra in a minute, but I've just had Alrick longer and I've showed more of him, and that's kind of the whole purpose of my social media channels has really been like an advertising arm for my breeding program.
Yeah,
and it's taken me this long because I didn't want to settle and make sure that I had the right dogs. Like, Alexandra, for instance, is not the first female that I had an opportunity to get.
Yeah.
She's not the only female that I've looked at. I've looked at so many, and they have all come up short, save her.
Yep. I still remember how excited you were when you found her. You just were dead set. This is the one. I could feel it. You just had that gut feeling.
And I knew it. And, as
right.
she's grown, she's proven me right again and again and again. She is so intelligent. She has such a great temperament.
Yep.
She's so sweet. But, man, when it is time to be ferocious, no one, is going to stand in her way.
No. No. She's checked. She's checked the dogs a couple times, let them know you're not going to run over me,
Especially Alrick.
Yeah, especially Alrick. Big bad Alrick, But she'll also settle down, cuddle, be sweet. It's a perfect dog.
She is, and she has insane food drive. Alrick does as well. Her ball drive. She can work, and she's just amazing. My dogs can do everything. They can even have their nails trimmed. They can take baths. Everything that I want in a great Malinois. Just because a dog is titled doesn't mean they have the temperament, doesn't mean that they can be, you can live with them.
Yep.
And that's so important to me, is to breed dogs that you can live with.
Yeah. I mean, all the dogs here, I've never been worried that they're just going to randomly snap and bite me. I could reach in their food bowl when they're eating. I could take a toy out of their mouth. I've never have had to worry about them just randomly lashing out and biting me, which is very important with these dogs.
Well, and the people I'm going to be selling them to are not, we're not, most of the people that have reached out that are wanting to buy a dog from this litter are, people that are wealthy, people that are have bodyguards, people that are professional athletes, celebrities. And so, they are not necessarily going to be competing with their dogs, although some of them have talked to me about that. But, the majority of them want a personal protection dog that can go with them, isn't a service animal, so they're not going to have public access rights.
Yeah.
But can, they can have people over to the house. The dog can go with them to pet-friendly places, and they're not going to be this dog is not just going to randomly bite someone or randomly, become reactive or aggressive towards another animal or dog.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so important. So important to have that temperament in check. Welcome to our disc golf podcast.
The other thing I wanted to mention is I have no idea. All right. The other thing I wanted to mention was their lineage. And, I haven't mentioned that publicly. One, because, a lot of the people that are buying my dogs, it's not really that important to them. The making sure that they have a dog that's going to be healthy throughout their life and is going to have the right temperament and be able to perform the job adequately. And, if they do want to go into sport, be able to, perform in that is what they are looking for. But, I will say that Alrick and Alexandra, they're both NVBK Malinois. Alrick's dad was Rocky, is my mentor, and like, Rocky was insane. But then also, looking at Rocky's lineage, he comes from Enig, which is a very, very, very prolific and infamous Malinois in Belgian history. And then also Alexandra, S-Max was her father, and he is like basically known as the best leg biter of all time.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he is no longer alive, and I don't know if they had any of his sperm saved. They might, but they come from very powerful lines. There is some line breeding between them. Not enough, it's farther enough out that it isn't, like inbreeding.
Yep.
But I just love the MVBK lines. And so, like, most of my dogs will all be MVBK lines. And, like, if someone is purchasing one of my dogs, I am happy to go into more detail about that. But, it's like some of the information, I just don't really feel like compelled to share it unless someone is
dying to know,
or in like an actual potential customer.
Yes.
And so, but we are only going to be able to sell so many dogs. I probably won't do more than one litter, depending on like how we sell them, every 1 or 2, like every 2 years.
Yeah.
And so, because the focus is going to be on training them. It's on quality. It's not on quantity.
Yes.
And it's going to be on selling fully trained protection dogs and not really focusing on selling puppies.
Yep. And keeping Alex as healthy as possible.
And, I'm hopefully by then we'll have acquired a second female. Also, another possible avenue is having an Alexandra daughter who just is so spectacular that she's like, "Hey, Mom, hold my kibble," and just goes to town. Obviously, Alrick wouldn't be the father in that instance. I have other avenues for some other males that I think are as good as Alrick. Also, some sperm that is saved, but that is kind of the long-term goal, is to have these fully trained protection dogs. And basically, I love training the dogs. I love training puppies, and I love building them up. And I always just figured the only way that I can do that as much as I possibly want is to have a breeding program. And the one final thing that I want to mention about the breeding program is that at least one dog from every litter will be sold to someone who needs a protection dog but cannot afford it. What got me into protection work was a friend of mine was brutally attacked in her own home. She had horrible PTSD and ended up getting a protection dog shipped over from Germany, fully trained, and she said it was like she got her life back. Like, she felt safe at home again. She was able to heal, and she was able to move on with her life. And I'm a really big believer that, just because you don't have an insane amount of money to spend on a protection dog doesn't mean that you don't deserve that protection and that safety. And so one dog from every one of my litters will be either, they won't be given away, but if it's $5 is a sacrifice for that person, $500, whatever is, not, I'm not saying like they have to make this huge sacrifice, but what is appropriate for them on a sliding scale. And, we will provide free training. They'll be able to come by once a week or however much they need to ensure that, the dog is right for them, to ensure that they can handle the dog.
Yeah.
And obviously all of my other dogs will, like all of my other protection dogs who I sell, we're going to have like basically like we have a private Discord where they can, post all their questions and gain access to me. I know a lot of people have like been asking for basically educational content and like classes, but for now we're going to be keeping it our classes and our educational comments or educational content for the people who buy the dog, so that they have continued support.
Yeah, and that way we can shift the majority of our focus to the puppies too, because that's going to be taking up a lot. A lot.
So there's I think I think that's everything that I wanted to mention. if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments, and we'll see if we can get to them on the next podcast. And we hope you guys enjoyed this, and it was fun. Glad you got to. He's going to be coming on the podcast. He'll probably be the regular dude.
Regular dude. Like, comment, subscribe.
We don't do that here.
Nope.
No. That's actually, I've had people comment and they're like, I like this.
Subscribe.
I like this channel because they never asked me to subscribe. And I'm like, I agree. Don't.
We have to push it.
But push it real.
Annoy the people. That's how you get the.
Oh, yes. That's how you go mega viral.
Yes.
That's what they want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
They want to hear. Hi, how you guys doing?
There's a link up here. There's one down here. There's one over here.
All right. Well, have a great day, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.